Stop. Before you touch your coffee tomorrow morning, hear me out for exactly 2 minutes. 2026 is doing something to our bodies. Not a single bad habit, not just stress. A new density of technological noise, collective anxiety, and environmental strain is quietly choking the body's pilot light. Ordinary fixes, more sleep, less sugar, a stronger will, are meeting a different kind of resistance. That resistance looks like morning fog that won't lift, a slow-burning exhaustion, and a metabolism that simply won't respond the way it used to. If you want to try a small reset, type ignited in the comments now, and stay with me for the full 2-minute ritual. This year brought an intensity to the background. Constant electromagnetic chatter, relentless alerts, weather extremes, and a cultural tempo that keeps the nervous system half alert. Our autonomic wiring is designed to cycle between rest and action. But when the baseline is scrambled, the machinery that runs energy, your metabolism, sputters. Imagine a hearth where ash has settled over the embers. The flame is still there, but it's smothered. That's how I picture metabolic decline in 2026. Not a dead fire, but a smothered pilot light at the base of the neck. The gland I return to again and again when I talk about this is the thyroid. Call it the pilot light, the transformer, the little regulator that helps set tempo for cellular energy. In various spiritual and archival readings, most notably those of Edgar Cayce, there are descriptions of the thyroid as a central relay between physical energy and what those traditions call the subtle or vibratory field. I offer those references as context and lineage, a historical, spiritual frame. They are not clinical proof. They are a tradition that many people have folded into their daily practices, alongside modern observation. From that crossroad of old reading and modern observation, a practical, low-duration practice has circulated. A 2-minute internal wash taken first thing in the morning, before food, before caffeine. People describe it as a ritual that tends to relight that pilot light, not by force, but by creating a rhythm the body can follow. I'll walk you through the exact steps and the cadence I use. But first, strong safety notes. If you are pregnant, nursing, have diagnosed thyroid disease or autoimmune conditions, or you are taking thyroid or other endocrine medications, you must consult a licensed healthcare professional before trying any iodine protocol. Do not change, stop, or adjust prescribed medications on your own. This practice is not medicine. It is an experimental habit, rooted partly in tradition and partly in anecdotal experience. Proceed with care. When you wake, before you reach for your phone or your coffee, reach instead for a neutral glass, preferably not plastic, filled about halfway with clean room temperature water. The water should feel gentle in the hand. Add exactly 1 single drop of the iodine form referenced in historical readings, sometimes called atomic iodine or atomidine. Note, that term comes from archival spiritual material, not from mainstream pharmacology. It is not the same as emergency iodine tablets or household tinctures. If you cannot source a product you recognize and trust, skip the iodine and use the water-only version of the ritual. The rhythm itself carries value. After the drop enters the water, give the glass a gentle swirl. Nothing dramatic, just a soft motion so the drop disperses. Hold the glass with attention. The practice is simple. Sip a small mouthful. Breathe fully. Sip again. Breathe. Repeat this pattern. Sip, breathe, slowly, with even spacing, for about 2 minutes. Count the breaths internally if that helps, but don't rush. The aim is not volume, it's cadence. Short, intentional sips. Slow, grounding inhales and exhales. Let the throat and jaw relax between sips. Imagine coaxing the pilot light. Small rhythmic encouragements, rather than a big shove. I recommend a rhythm of 5 days on, 2 days off as the pulse for this reset. That cadence honors a bodily cycle, consistent practice without turning it into a daily compulsion. It's a pattern some longtime practitioners favor because it allows for integration and observation without escalation. Again, this is a practice pattern, not a medical regimen. Keep a modest journal for the week, 2 lines each morning noting 3 quick markers: how the throat feels, lighter, constricted, neutral; how your mind feels in the first hour, clearer, same, fogged; and your emotional tone by mid-afternoon, steady, reactive, low. These are simple, low-risk measures that help you track subtle shifts without turning experience into diagnosis. What do people report? Anecdotally, there are a few consistent themes: a quicker sense of ignition, small rises in morning aliveness, less persistent brain fog for the first half of the day, and a felt increase in resilience, the kind that shows up as steadier nerves when the day ups the pressure. Some people describe it as their vibrational field feeling less compressed, an energetic phrase that means to them fewer intrusive thoughts, less reactivity. These are personal reports, not clinical outcomes. They are invitations to observe, not promises. If you try this, look for small, trackable changes rather than sweeping transformations overnight. A few practical notes that matter in lived experience. Do this ritual alone. No phone, no inbox. So the first system your body meets each day is rhythm, not shock. Use room temperature water. Extremes in temperature introduce a different physiological response. Use the neutral glass so there's no leaching of plastics. Respect the single drop instruction. More is not better. Rhythm and intention carry more weight than quantity. Sovereignty matters. You are the one monitoring your body. If anything feels off, dizziness, throat tightness, palpitations, stop immediately and consult your clinician. There are preparatory measures referenced in historical readings, castor oil packs being one example, that some people have used as adjuncts. Treat those as archival practices. They're part of a tradition, not a validated medical pre-treatment. If you're considering anything more than the 2-minute oral ritual, particularly topical or internal adjuncts, discuss them first with a healthcare provider. Now, the safety boundaries again, directly and unambiguously. If you have a diagnosed thyroid condition, an autoimmune disease, if you are pregnant or nursing, or if you are taking any thyroid or endocrine medication, speak with your clinician before trying any iodine-related protocol. Do not discontinue or alter your prescriptions based on something you heard here. If you are unsure about your thyroid status or your medications, get professional testing and guidance. If you experience new or unusual symptoms after trying the ritual, stop and seek medical evaluation. For those who proceed with attention, here's how to notice effect without turning observation into obsession. Day 1. Register whether the first hour after waking feels different. Are you reaching for less coffee? Day 3. Note whether your clarity in the morning is sustained into late morning. Day 7. Review emotional steadiness by mid-afternoon. If you track these 3 simple markers, throat sensation, morning clarity, afternoon steadiness, you'll gather a week's worth of low-friction data to decide if this practice is worth continuing for you. I'll be honest, the theoretical framing of a thyroid as a pilot light, of iodine as a subtle conductor, sits at the edge where spiritual tradition and biohacking curiosity meet. Edgar Cayce's readings are part of that lineage. They offer language and ritual that some people find useful. But language from archives is not a substitute for lab data or clinical oversight. Treat the tradition as a map of possibilities, not a mandate of fact. If you try the ritual, take one more practical step. Label your intention before you sip. It can be as simple as ignite clarity or steady the day. Intention is not a cure, it's a focusing mechanism. It trains attention. Attention trains habit. Habit rewires small pathways toward steadier states. Rhythm trumps volume. 2 minutes done with consistency and respect can feel more powerful than a dramatic intervention done sporadically. So to summarize the ritual in a single flow you can remember: wake, half glass of room temperature water, 1 single drop of the archival iodine form if you have a trusted source, gentle swirl, sip, breathe, for roughly 2 minutes. 5 days on, 2 off. Track throat, clarity, steadiness. Consult your provider if you have any of the risk factors I named. Do not change medications. Do not assume this is medical therapy. If this idea lands with you, Type ignited in the comments now. If you try the 7-day pulse, come back and tell the community what shifted. No grand claims, just honest observations. Did your morning fog lift even a fraction? Was your throat less heavy? Did emotions feel steadier at the day's midpoint? Share what you found so others can read relationally, not prescriptively. Before we close, expect more here. In the next piece, I'll explore how small energy markers, birthmarks, glandular sensations, repetitive aches, can serve as signposts for broader metabolic work. We'll trace patterns, not promises. For now, if this short ritual feels like something to try, do it with curiosity and humility. Protect your health by consulting trained practitioners for anything beyond observation. If this video helped you think differently about how 2026 may be influencing your internal rhythm, like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone you trust. Come back in 7 days and tell us what you noticed.